Welcome everyone to Knightsarena Spike Down, episode 5. My name's Keith LaFortune, joined again by George Geddes. And well, it's the final week of Split 1, and it comes down to this. It comes down to the wire. We're going to discuss who's going to clinch a spot for mid-season face-offs, who's falling short, who's rising to the top, and of course, opinions across the board. So let's start with a good old recap of week 4. We said, if you watch episode 4, we kind of prefaced instead as the week of make it or break it, and that was kind of the case. But now this week's still equally important. Let's start with the Wednesday matches. We had MAD beating Disguised, and then we had TSM beating OR. I believe those were also our predictions. So, woo!
Yeah, I think it's because that day was like the easiest to predict kind of thing. Because I feel like the other days, I feel like we kind of disagreed on some things.
Yeah.
But I feel like that day was like, yeah, like come on. I feel like this is pretty obvious here. I think TSM always kind of would have the upper hand over War Esports, and then MAE obviously are MAE. So I think them taking a win over Disguise doesn't really, shock anyone. It's the other days, man. The other days, I feel like I was right on one of them.
Which one did you get right? Was it the
I'm
Turtle
pretty
Troop
sure
G2, I think
it was either G2 Turtle Troop or Shopify Moist. I'm pretty sure I chose either TT or Moist for one. I can't remember which one it was, but I'm pretty sure I got one of those right. So I'm quite happy with myself with that one. So
I think,
I'm gonna go
speaking
with
of G2, so Thursday was G2 Turtle Troop, the Guard Mad Lions. The Guard Mad Lions one was an easy pred. Turtle Troop G2, I think you said Turtle Troop. I copped out one G2. And then for Friday was Shopify Moist Phase Oxygen. I think I took Moist and you took Shopify.
Maybe.
I think I said something about it's Moist game to win. The pressure's on. They need a win. And Phase Oxygen. I mean, did either of us pick Oxygen? I don't think so.
I can't remember. I'm not sure. I don't think so.
I'm not sure.
But I mean,
so
obviously a very
what a crazy week, right? Yeah, Oxygen 100%. Win, Moist Moguls win. I mean, what a week. And it creates such an awkward situation where like Group B is locked. We have our 4 teams. We know who's making it to the midseason face-off. Group A, which at the start of the season, you would go, Group A is, it's going to be easy-ish. It should be okay. Group B, I mean, it could be some upsets. But it seems like the story now is Group A is madness. Group B is locked. And now we're kind of looking at what's going to happen here. Because we said Shopify needs a win. Moist Moguls needs a win. But Shopify should win, and I mean, they fell short. What a crazy week! And what was your biggest takeaway from last week? Really,
honestly, I think Turtle Troop actually really surprised me with how well they've been playing. Because I think before we kind of mentioned about how they're kind of going through this bit of a honeymoon period. The introductions of the new players, especially Tig, I think has been incredible. I've always thought that Tig was a great player. I remember I was speaking to Vanity actually, and Vanity was like, "Yeah, Tig is like," I think he was on like Luminosity at the time. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, he was telling me about how Tig is one of these players that you should look out for. So yeah, very impressed with Turtle Troop. Obviously disappointing for G2.
Very much
but,
so.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of had that spot locked down anyway, but still, it's not great when you kind of lose to a team like Turtle Troop. But I guess you could make the argument that, they're coming off kind of like a back-to-back victory, that kind of thing. And, they're kind of finding their form, bringing in new players. And I guess I think they look like a completely different team, really.
Absolutely.
Because when I was watching them, I was like, oh, damn, like this team's actually pretty, like, they're pretty, what's the word, like close-knit. Like they actually feel like they have a game plan.
So, really are a unit. And to add to your TIG points, second in rating for the week, second in ACS, second in ADR, and second in KPR. So he was the highest rated initiator, the second highest rated player all of last week. And I think a win over G2 will prove that. And I guess my biggest, I mean, if I could pick 2, I don't know if that's cheating. I mean, we make the rules. The Friday matches, Moist Mo is beating Shopify. Shopify continuing this downward spiral, just lacking across the board. And Oxygen just demolishing FaZe in a really cool, fun series to watch. If there's any match to go back and watch, it's Friday's games, I would say, if I could pick 2. What a really fun day. And then that sets up this week perfectly. So I can't wait. And let's talk tweet time. let's jump into some tweets. We asked the community for some tweets, and did they deliver? And of course, we're just talking about them. G2, they asked who's the best team in challengers right now, and why is it G2? Well, you know, we might have been inclined to agree. Episode 2, episode 3. After week 4, it's clearly M80 who's the best team.
Yeah, it's
right
pretty
now,
arguable now, I have to say.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I don't know about that one. G2, it's like, again, I still kind of have this like idea in my mind that G2 are still kind of up there with MAE, and it's like pretty difficult to decide which is better. And I think right now, if you go off of form, then yeah, obviously MAE is looking better. But I always kind of factor in as I mentioned last week, the fact that G2 has these players that are known to actually perform when the going gets tough. You know what I mean? Like they kind of have this, you know, they have winners. That's just what it comes down to. They have winners on the team. Winners win, losers lose. And it's like, you know, they've kind of got these players, and I think that definitely helps them. Whether they're the best team right now, in terms of form, no, it's MAE. But again, I'm still kind of holding off that I feel like they will perform quite well in the face-off. It's just whether MAE, when the pressure's on, will they be able to deliver performances? And I think I don't really have that worry with G2, but I kind of do with MAE, if that makes sense. So,
I mean, I can't blame you for having that, but it's just going to throw this out there and see if it lands. G2, only +6 in round differential with a 3-1 record, which means a lot of their matches have been really, really close. They're 6 out of 4 maps, so 6 wins, 4 losses in their series, and 4 maps. Meanwhile, M80, 8-1. The only map they've ever lost has been to OR so far, and they're +60 in round differential. So they are dominating their group.
For sure.
And I guess to your point, until the midseason playoffs, right? Until the midseason face-off, until playoffs, can M80 hang when the pressure gets higher? That's ultimately the question that kind of looms over top, and that defines a team that's the best in challengers, really. And the next one in from Patrick Climb. What player is the most overlooked in the challenger scene at this time? I mean, man, there's so many players.
It's so hard, right? Like, it's so difficult.
So
it's such a good question, because it's like you kind of don't really want to mention somebody that is kind of putting up those, because it would be so easy for us to go like, oh, like EU, Nismo, Koala, like Tig even now. Like, there's just so many like players that you could kind of say don't really get that kind of recognition. I do have one in mind though, and I will go with Tex actually on this one. I think that Tex coming into the guard has kind of proved that he can kind of hang with the rest of the team there. Obviously, we kind of always knew that like Trent and others, even Valen is like putting up really good performances, and I kind of knew that was going to be the case. And the big question mark for me was Tex, and whether he could kind of come in and, you know, fulfill his duties as, you know, whether duelist, sage, whatever he kind of plays. And I think he's done that very well. And I think he doesn't really get talked about a lot. I think he has probably one of the highest like KPRs as well. And I think he's certainly a player that can definitely kind of perform with the rest of the guys when they're also firing on all cylinders. Obviously, Net's been playing very well. You know, I guess most of the guard players do play very good individually, but I think Tex has kind of proved that he can kind of hang with them and also elevate this team. It's just whether he can kind of continue that form and, you know, prove that, you know, I could be one of the best players in challengers. It just, you know, now he's got the team to do it. You know, can he kind of achieve that level? We'll have to kind of wait and see, you know. But yeah, I would say Tex for that one for sure.
So I had 2 as soon as I read this question, and the one that jumped out to me. Okay, I'll just pick one of them then. All right, they are on the same team, but I'm gonna go with Ken Pecky. I think this addition makes TSM 10 times better. They look unbelievable in their recent matchups, and I mean, realistically, if you want to jump into it, he led with Nature, the 2 newest additions to TSM. Who was my other option? I'm just saying, but Ken Pecky went +4, 33 assists. He is an absolute monster and initiator right now, sharing that responsibility with Nature. Kempecky's kind of like a flex initiator. Nature's the Viper and plays Sova Fade. And that duo has been unreal. And I think Kenpecky, we kind of harped on it a little bit, like, why Kenpecky? Where did this come from? There's other options.
Oh, yeah.
And I think he has proven that he fits in the TSM system He's leading by example in how he's playing. He was a big reason they beat the guard. And I think we're going to continue to see the upward trend of Kenpeki if he can continue this form. Again, we've talked about Turtle Troop in a honeymoon phase. Is this the same situation? Possibly. But I think Kenpeki is one to really, really look out for moving forward. And definitely not talked about enough.
I will say, just to like kind of add to that point as well, I'll wholeheartedly admit that like I was wrong on that one for sure. I was like harping on Kenpeki. I was really going in on him thinking, this really isn't going to be a good signing. I thought it'd be pretty mediocre. He's made me eat my words. Like 100%. I will admit I'm wrong to that one because he has been incredible. So yeah, 100%. Very impressed with Kenpeki, and I'm very glad that he is playing well. Obviously, kind of had that, that stint on Sentinels obviously didn't go well. A lot of players kind of had him maybe a tier below what he should be actually playing. And, maybe he's kind of, on the process of earning his spot back in the highest level,
Totally.
And I think he's doing everything right. So yeah, we'll admit I was wrong with that one for sure.
Hey, there we go. That's okay. I love hearing that. Hopefully we can hear more of that. Keep it up, Kenpeki. And 2 players apparently still need to sign with Turtle Troop. XQC is getting the team. What's the info on this?
Yeah, so I believe there are still a few players that you get to sign with XQC's like representative. So people were like, I saw people were like questioning whether it's like just XQC involved in like is he messaging all these players or whatever? That's obviously not what's happening. Like XQC has a team of representatives that is kind of working with the team. That's usually how business deals work. Obviously, he doesn't have an organization like Ludwig or Moist did, right? But even Disguised Toast didn't really have an organization, I guess, but now he does, and it's like he's kind of building this brand alongside him, right? So hopefully we will see. From what I know, I do believe there will be kind of like a brand aspect, a bit like Disguise kind of thing. Obviously, they're not going to keep the Turtle Troop name. So yeah, I think as soon as they are all signed and contracts are negotiated and everything is kind of finalized, then it should be all good, and XQC will be officially entering into challenges with Turtle Troops. We've got plenty of content creators now, actually.
Plenty.
Obviously, XQC, Ludwig, Moist, Disguised Toast, incredible. Like, honestly,
it's wild.
All we need now is like Tarek to sign a team or something to get like
join
the
somebody.
Of, yeah, exactly. Just to get like the trifecta of all of the big content creators or whatever.
That'd be crazy. That'd be
wow. No, I think I don't know, but I feel like there's probably a conflict of interest there or something.
maybe
Sentinels, maybe. I don't know, but we'll deal with the legalities later.
Speaking of Turtle Troop, still on the precipice of maybe making the midseason face-off. There's 3 spots left in Group A. Group B is a lock. So let's kind of talk, and just a preference. These matches in Week 5 still matter for everyone in Group B. It's all about seeding, right? It's seeding and where you're going to land when it comes to the leaderboards for points allocation. But what matters right now in Week 5 is the midseason face-off. Who's going to make it from Group A? G2 is the only lock in Group A, which means FaZe, Auction, Moist, Turtle Troop, and Shopify all still have a chance, and a chance to still not make it. Interesting development. I'll take a shot at the dark first if you don't mind.
Sure, go
George.
for it.
Hot take: Shopify have too many variables to make it themselves. They have to win, and they need Turtle Troop to lose. This is why Light almost falls over and knocks me out. That would have been a great segment, but it's not going to happen. Shopify gonna lose. There's too many variables. They have to win against G2, and they need Turtle Troop to lose. I mean, that's those two things inevitably are such a crazy mix. Oxygen have to beat Turtle Troop. Seems like it. A lot of things going on. I think FaZe are going to make it. They're playing Moist Moguls. That's a big game. I mean, man, 5 teams for 3 spots. 2 people are getting their heart broken. It's really in the air. I think FaZe, Turtle Troop, Oxygen, it comes down around. It's so crazy how close this is going to be.
Yeah. Honestly, all I want is Turtle Troop to make it. I just feel like this team has been on
awesome.
like an insane redemption arc. Because I was talking to we did actually like ages ago, and he was like, "Man, like all these people saying we're like the lowest rated team." And like this was before the season was like starting, right? And he was like, "Man, like we're kind of rated quite low here in terms of like the power rankings of everyone. Everyone's saying, oh, we're like the worst team or whatever." I feel like this is like a pretty insane redemption, you know? I feel like them obviously winning back to back. If they could win again.
By the way, you ranked them the lowest. I'm just saying.
Yeah, 100%. I will completely admit that. Like I did not have this team going far at all. But
what amazing changes they made too, by the way. So
for sure. Like I think, I mean, honestly, I feel like Cloud9 could learn a thing or two from these guys. Like, this is incredible, right? Roster moves here, but it's fine. It's against Oxygen, Scuba's my boy. It's like, oh man,
it's tough.
I want to see those guys do well as well. So yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty torn, man. I'm pretty torn. But I will say, the decline of Shopify. I feel like this needs to be like studied in Harvard or something for like the next like 10 years because. I don't understand how a team this good, like objectively, they are a good team.
Be this bad, really?
It could suck. Yeah. Like I don't know what is going on with this team. Like do they just not? My first idea was like, oh, maybe they don't have a star player that's like carrying them through because sometimes you have these kinds of insane players that just carry teams no matter what. They have they have B-Dog. Like B-Dog's been playing incredible.
Yeah,
and it's like. So
you have Mana too. Typically, he's up there
exactly.
Too. Yeah,
and it's like you kind of look at the individual players, and it's like these individual players are not really doing anything wrong. If anything, they're playing quite well. And it's like, so okay, why are they losing? Well, I think that it comes down to multiple different factors, but I think that the clutch factor is probably one of them. I feel like them losing 2-1 pretty often now is kind of showing that there's a bit of a trend there. They're not really able to win out the games when it comes down to it. And I think that's probably, one of the most important things that you need to have if you want to be, a very top team. But it's like, this was like the Luminosity core. This was the team that everyone was like, okay, they should be up there with like, maybe the Guard, MAE, these kinds of, big name teams. And we were all saying that, they were going to be up there as well, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is bizarre. I really don't know what's happening. I was saying last week about how are we witnessing a spiral of just a decline in form for these guys?
Yeah.
And it doesn't look good. So
the craziest thing to me is like with B-Dog's performance. Like I'm looking at almost every game he played. In the most recent match against Moist Modals, he was only negative in the last map, and I'm looking at his first kill, first death. 5-4 on Lotus, which is the third map. He was 8-2 first kill, first death on Fracture, the second map. And the first map, he was 6-3. So they're getting the first picks and losing rounds and unable to close out rounds when they have man advantage or in retake certain situations. It's almost like your fundamentals are losing. I don't think it's a skill question. It's you're falling apart at the core. Like, you're not a team. If you're, I want to look at the stats. Like, how many 5vx's have they lost? Like, it must be way too absurd, and it blows my mind how close that series was, and in my opinion, shouldn't have been. I mean, this week it's do or die for them. Are you making the midseason face-off or not? It's kind of like step up or don't really for them, and we'll see if they continue to spiral down because. I mean, man, they have the talent. They just really need to maybe revitalize, look over some comps, really figure some things out. They're definitely looking down, not out, but really looking down. And that leads us into week 5. I mean, what a crazy week we've set ourselves up for. We'll start with Wednesday. We have TSM Disguised, the Guard M80, the match we've been waiting for, because we finally get to answer that question. At least it's a little teaser. We might see in the midseason face-off again, but it's a little bit of a teaser of who is the best team in Challengers. Is it the Guard? Is it M80? I'm taking out TSM out of the equation because the Guard and
G2 are playing, so...
Right.
I don't know if G2 would have something to say about that one.
That's true.
You know.
That's true. But the Guard M80, TSM Disguised. I mean, look, Disguised, making roster change. Exalt is gone, right? You have
Oh,
Riku coming
so
in the
bizarre,
6-man.
by the way. So bizarre.
Odd situation. I mean, shout out to Exalt being very humble in the whole situation, saying, it was mutual. We just couldn't see eye to eye. And, I'm going to go my way and I'm going to prove I want it and I'm hungry and they're going to do their thing and I respect it. So he's handled the situation like a true professional. But now they're in a situation where they've made the midseason face-off. They have one more game to play and it's Riku's chance. He's been around, multiple FPS titles, always playing at a decent level. Now finally has a chance to prove himself. I don't know if that's going to be enough to get over the TSM hump. I want them to. You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm taking this guys over TSM. I'm saying it right now. Sorry, Ken Pecky. I got to go with my boys. I got to go. I got to take some hot take. This guy's over TSM. The guard M80. I mean, what a wild one to pick too. I'm going M80. I rest my case.
Okay. I mean, saying like M80 over the guard, I think is pretty fair.
Okay. You don't like my disguise.
I think TSM 2-0 them, to be honest, but I think that's way too wild. I don't know, man. I think TSM 2-0 them, to be honest. Like, I don't know about that one. That looks pretty cut and dry for me. But yeah, the guard M80 is going to be the one that everyone's going to be like, okay, like, we're kind of going to see who's the best here. So
absolutely, yeah. That's kind of the one. And then Thursday, OR Mad Lions, the 0-4 brothers face each other. I'm pretty sure they're both 0-4. They are. So somebody's getting a win. Somebody is putting a win on the board. And then FaZe Clan and Moist Moguls. OR Mad Lions, I have to lean towards OR. I think they've shown more consistency, more growth in their matches. Mad Lions, they've looked the same. They made a roster change. They still look the same. I have to go OR. FaZe Clan, Moist Moguls. I mean, man, that's a tough one for me. I'm going to have to go Moist Moguls. I feel like I've always rooted against FaZe Clan. But it's, to me, FaZe, again, it's Baby Bay, go get a kill, coin flip, throw utility for them. They win the round or lose the round based on how that works. And it's crazy that still seems to be their biggest approach is, okay, can Baby Bay open this round for us? Yes, no. If no, okay, we have to mid-round and come back sometimes from a man disadvantage. It's just, I feel like I'm watching the same round play out almost every time.
Yeah, I mean, Poised has been fragging, though. Fair play to him.
He's been owning. That is true.
So,
that is true.
But yeah, it's like OR Esports versus, like, or OR Esports, sorry, like, against Mad. I think that matchup is basically just to see who could put, like, the opponent to sleep first, to be honest. I feel like they both looked absolutely woeful. And then honestly, I don't even know who's gonna. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it ends in like a draw after like overtime or whatever.
Like they're 40-40 and they're like, button. Can we just?
It's like, okay, guys, we'll be done here. We'll be done. It's fine. FaZe Moist. Honestly, I'll probably say Moist. I feel like, oh god, it's. I will never get over that name. But I feel like Moist Moguls will probably win that one. I think.
Yeah.
With the loss to Oxygen, it's like, our FaZe really gonna be that good. So I think Moist. I think they'll take that one, to be honest. I think it'll be close, but I think they'll win, yeah.
Yeah, and then let's talk about Friday. Turtle Troop, Oxygen, G2, Shopify. Shopify has to win. Turtle Troop need to lose for Shopify. Man, that Friday is going to be spicy. Turtle Troop, Oxygen, I'm going to go Turtle Troop. I think they're looking unreal. Tig's playing out of his mind. Adder's back consistently practicing with them. That team has a lot going for them. Do not play them on Fracture, or you will get rolled. By the way, Jet making a reappearance for a lot of these teams on Fracture, generally not a Jet map. Generally a Raze heavy map, and we're starting to see Neon, the Jet. We're starting to see a bit of a Neon, comp again. So it's interesting to kind of start to see that shift, and I think Turtle Troops are really pushing. They're playing Sky on Fracture. People are like, what's going on here? It's a cool comp. Don't play them on that map. I'm taking Turtle Troop over Oxygen. The vetoes, I think, are going to just favor Turtle Troop and that unknown entity and Flare they still have. And then G2 Shopify, I mean, man, Shopify have to win and G2 don't. That's ultimately how it is. Like, G2 are kind of chilling. So what are we going to see from G2? They want a good seed, obviously. They want to make sure they get second or third so they can get the most challenger points. I have to go G2, though, based on everything we said about Shopify today.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go G2 as well. I think G2 have just looked good. I think it just kind of comes down to these kinds of matches where it's like towards the end of the season, or I guess the split, and it's like, will they kind of take their foot off the gas and they don't really I wouldn't say they don't care as much, but it's like they don't really kind of give it their all as they would if they were kind of down and out, you know what I mean? So I don't know, maybe Shopify could take it. I mean, obviously they need to, but I'm not sure. I feel like it's just, I don't know. Actually, you know what? I'll go Shopify. I think Shopify may be able to take it. I think G2 will take their foot off the gas, and I think Shopify will be able to take it. But Turtle Troop Oxygen, I don't know, man. It's like, I feel like Oxygen are like, they're just this team where it's like, I feel like they do have what it takes to be good, but it's like, then they lose to like a bad team. It's like, oh, man. Yeah. I don't know. I'll go Turtle Troop on that one. I'll go Turtle Troop. I'm going to rep the boys on that one. I think that they'll probably take it. So yeah,
perfect.
I feel so bad for my boy Scuba. I feel like I talk about him every episode.
Scuba.
No recognition, by the way. I don't think I've ever spoke to Scuba in my life, but it's like I'll still harp on him. I still think he's great.
Yeah, no, he is goated. I mean, what can you say? Well, everybody, that's the show. Thank you so much for watching Knightsarena. Spike down, follow Knightsarena on all their socials, Twitter and YouTube, to stay up to date on everything challengers. And the most important games of Split 1 are coming up soon. You won't want to miss them.